Hey everybody. So this little video is something I've been thinking of for a while, and it may be a little bit more woo-woo than the previous videos than I've made because I tend to be very pragmatic and practical with the videos I make. But something came to my attention, and I just really wanted to bring this to everybody else's. After working with decades with different decks, what I learned is so you get a nice new deck, something you've been wanting for a long time, and you're excited to get it. You open it up, you love the images, everything seems great. And then you do a reading, if you're like me, just to kind of like test drive it. So you ask it a question for something you already know. So you might be like, oh, how is my relationship with, and then you pick somebody that maybe you don't have the best relationship with. So you're looking for a little more antagonistic cards, or if you want how my relationship with this other person is like a best friend. And what you're trying to do is look for reflections of questions that you know in the card to kind of see how it works for you, how it calibrates for you. I have certain decks that I use that there's like undeniably something there because, I use them all the time. I trust them. The questions I get, like, you just know this is your person, this is your deck. But when you first get a deck, what I noticed is there's a deck that I use almost all the time at one point from Ciro Marchetti. It was The Legacy of the Divine. Love that deck. And I had the hand-printed, he made a version of it that he made at home, and it was not a mass market. And I remember it was a great investment. I loved this deck, used it all the time, did it for all my readings. Even if I used other decks, that one would be in it. And so I ended up getting the mass market one thing and like, well, this would be great for traveling because I won't damage it because the other one was worth so much. And then it turns out when I started asking it questions, it was not jiving with me. It just wasn't telling me the same stuff. It wasn't being honest or truthful. And I thought, like, what is even happening here? Because I know the images. I've used these for years. Why is this other deck like just not speaking to me? It's the same thing, right? So here's what I learned. So when I get a new deck, and this is one that was gifted to me, and I take it everywhere. And this is a Stralsunder Lenormand. And thank you to my friend who gifted this to me. But basically, this goes everywhere with me. So this little pouch goes in my purse. It travels with me. It went to work with me. It drives to the grocery store with me. It's with me all the time. My energy is infused with it. When I used to do crystal readings on people, what I would have them do is hold this series of crystals in their hands, just a pile of crystals, set the intention of any questions or concerns that they had. And I really wanted them to like blow on the crystals. So I'd have them kind of like that, just because the magic is in us, right? We are the energy, and we're just like putting the energy into the stones. And then I would have them drop them onto the casting cloth, and we'd go and we'd read them at that point. So same thing with the cards. Sometimes I'm reading them with a client, and I'll just really want them to put their hand over the deck, or I want them to breathe on them. When COVID came, I was like, what are we going to do here? Because I really love this energy infusion of breath. And we really can't do that with things like COVID now, but we can send energy the same way. It's just more intentional rather than expressing out with the actual physical breath, where we can extend energy outside of us through our hands, through our minds, which is really a strong connection. So my suggestion to you is when you get a new deck, go ahead and play with it, check out the images and all that, but then it's time for you to connect with it like you would your best friend. You got to spend time together, right? So you want to stick that deck under your pillow. You want to sleep with it under your pillow. You want to put it next to your bedstand, your coffee stand. You want to kind of take it around the house with you, even if you're not using it. Just kind of like infuse yourself into it. You can stick it under your car seat on your way to work. You just kind of want to like be around each other. You will kind of like want to like fuse your energy together so that you kind of meld and bond together. It's like developing a relationship. And you will find the more that you're together with the deck, the faster this will happen. But you will find that within a couple days, you've got this like this jive thing going with your deck, and you can start putting the cards down, and then they start making sense. So that's as long as you understand the images and the systems of the cards that you're using. But as someone that's used cards for decades now, and when I would open up a deck and I'd be like, yeah, I love these images, and then I would start asking the questions, I'm like, no, that's just not right. Just spend a little time with it, because it'll come. You'll become good friends, and you just got to kind of like devote yourself to the deck. And you kind of like, I do think there's some kind of quantum physics thing going on that we just haven't figured out yet. Just like when you're doing experiments, they say with quantum physics, if you have an intention where you want it to come out a certain way, you can actually influence the scientific experience by your anticipation of what you think might happen. And it's, I think, the same with cards, is that we kind of like infuse our energy. There's like a melding of energy. So that's it. So just spend some time with your decks, and I think you will see better results. Don't panic if you pick them up and they're just not doing what they're supposed to be doing based on what you expect. All right. So that's my little tidbit for today, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Take care.